When I was in high school, I had this amazing teacher who encouraged us to give presentations in English. I was so scared the first time. My hands were shaking, and I kept forgetting my words. But you know what? After I finished, my classmates actually complimented me. That's when I realized that people aren't looking for perfection. They just want to understand you. We often forget that most people are supportive, not judgmental. Hey everyone, welcome back to Fluent English Pod, where we help you train your mind to think in English and speak fluently. I'm Dave with our co-host Emma.
Hey, we're so glad you're here. Whether you're listening on your way to work, while making dinner, or just winding down for the day, thanks for spending this time with us.
Whether you are a new listener or a long-time one, we welcome you to our English podcast. Let's hear our today's topic.
Today, we are diving into a topic that's close to every language learner's heart, building confidence in English. Whether you're just starting out or you've been learning for a while, we all face those moments of self-doubt, where we're afraid to speak up because of mistakes or judgment. But here's the thing. Confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about embracing the journey, learning from your mistakes, and celebrating every small win along the way. So, in this episode, Dave and I are going to share some personal stories, practical tips, and maybe even a few laughs to help you feel more comfortable and confident in your English skills. Let's get started.
Emma, I feel like we should give some practical tips for building confidence at first. So, Emma, what's your number one piece of advice?
My top tip is to start small. Don't put pressure on yourself to have a full conversation right away. Maybe start by saying hello or thank you in English. Once you feel comfortable with that, you can gradually add more. It's like learning to ride a bike. You don't start with a mountain trail, you start with training wheels.
Training wheels for English. I love that. And you know what? That's such a great approach. I'd also recommend practicing in low-pressure situations. For example, talk to yourself in English while you're cooking or showering. It sounds silly, but it really helps you get used to forming sentences without worrying about what others think. Plus, your pasta won't judge you if you mess up the past tense.
Ha. Exactly. And another thing that's helped me is recording myself. I'll read a short paragraph or talk about my day, then listen back to see where I can improve. It's like being your own teacher. And trust me, hearing your own voice can be cringy at first, but it's such a powerful tool for growth.
That's such a good idea. And don't forget to celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Did you learn a new word today? Awesome. Did you have a short conversation in English? Even better. Treat yourself to something nice, maybe a cookie or a cup of tea. You deserve it.
Yes. And here's another tip. Find a language buddy. It could be a friend, a family member, or even someone online. Having someone to practice with makes the journey less lonely and way more fun. Plus, you can laugh together when you accidentally say something like, "I'll take a coffee with milk and, sky?" instead of sugar.
Haha, sky instead of sugar. Classic. But you know what? Those moments are golden. They're the ones you'll look back on and laugh about. And speaking of laughing, don't be afraid to make jokes in English, even if they're simple. Humor is a universal language, and it's a great way to connect with people.
Absolutely. And remember, confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about being brave enough to try. So, start small, practice often, and don't forget to celebrate every little win. Before you know it, you'll be speaking English with the confidence of a movie star, or at least a really confident extra in a coffee shop scene.
And if all fails, just smile and nod. It works wonders.
I know you've mentioned this before, Dave, but I think it's worth repeating. Mistakes are not the enemy.
Absolutely. In fact, mistakes are your best teachers. They're like those little signposts on the road to fluency. They might slow you down for a second, but they're guiding you in the right direction. I remember a student I once had who was so afraid of making mistakes that she barely spoke. One day, I told her, "Every mistake is a step closer to fluency." And you know what? She started speaking more, and her confidence grew so much.
That's such a powerful mindset shift. I think we need to remind ourselves that even native speakers make mistakes. It's part of being human. I mean, have you ever heard someone say, "I could care less," when they mean I couldn't care less. Even native speakers get it wrong sometimes.
Oh, don't even get me started on that one. And you know what's funny? Sometimes those mistakes can lead to the best stories. Like the time I accidentally said I'm embarrassed instead of I'm married in Spanish. Let's just say it was a very confusing moment for everyone involved.
Ha ha ha. But see, you survived, and now it's a great story to tell. And honestly, those moments are what make language learning so memorable. Like the time I tried to say I'm excited in French and ended up saying I'm pregnant instead. Let's just say my host family was very surprised.
Oh my gosh, Emma. That's hilarious. But you know what? Those kinds of mistakes are like badges of honor. They show that you're putting yourself out there and trying. And honestly, people usually find it endearing, not embarrassing.
Exactly. I had a friend who was ordering food in English for the first time, and instead of saying, "Can I have a hot dog, please?" he said, "Can I have a dog, please?" The waiter was so confused, but once they figured it out, everyone had a good laugh.
A dog instead of a hot dog? That's amazing. But you know what? That's the kind of mistake you'll never make again. It's like your brain goes, okay, lesson learned. Hot dogs are not dogs.
Haha, exactly. And here's the thing. Mistakes are proof that you're trying. If you're not making mistakes, you're probably not pushing yourself enough. So embrace them, laugh at them, and most importantly, learn from them.
Absolutely. And let's not forget that mistakes can actually help you connect with people. When you laugh at yourself, it shows that you're human, and people love that. It's like saying, hey, I'm learning, and I'm okay with not being perfect.
Yes. And honestly, those moments of vulnerability can lead to some of the best conversations, like the time I mispronounced beach and accidentally said a very different word. Let's just say it broke the ice in a way I never expected.
Oh no, Emma. But see, that's the beauty of it. Those moments become stories you can share, and they make the journey so much more fun. So, to all our listeners out there, don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're not the enemy, they're your secret weapon.
Well said, Dave. And remember, every mistake is a step closer to fluency. So keep speaking, keep laughing, and keep learning.
All right, let's take a quick break to explain some of the difficult words we use today. First word is vulnerability.
Ooh, great word. Vulnerability means being open to showing your weaknesses or emotions, even if it feels uncomfortable. For example, when you admit you're nervous about speaking English, that's showing vulnerability.
Exactly. Next word is endearing. Endearing describes something that makes people feel affection or warmth towards you. Like when you make a silly mistake in English and laugh about it, that's endearing.
Totally. For example, his attempt to speak English with a terrible accent was surprisingly endearing.
The third word is cringy.
Haha. Oh, we all know this one. Cringy means something that makes you feel embarrassed or awkward, like hearing your own voice on a recording for the first time.
Yes. For an example, watching my old videos is so cringy, but it's also a great way to see how much I've improved.
And finally, let's talk about mindset.
Mindset refers to your attitude or way of thinking about something. For example, having a growth mindset means believing you can improve with effort and practice.
Perfect. Changing her mindset from "I can't do this" to "I'll keep trying" made all the difference in her language learning journey.
All right, that's it for our quick word break. Keep these words in your vocabulary toolbox and don't be afraid to use them.
And remember, even if it feels a little cringy at first, it's all part of the process.
Absolutely, Emma. Let's get back to our discussion on boosting our listeners' confidence in speaking English.
Oh yeah, Dave. Another idea is to talk to yourself, like we mentioned earlier. Or you can even practice with a pet. I used to read stories to my dog when I was learning Spanish. He didn't judge me at all.
That's adorable. And honestly, pets are the perfect language partners. They don't correct you, they don't laugh at your accent, and they're always there to listen. Plus, you might even teach them some fun new words. Imagine your dog learning sit in English and Spanish. Multilingual pets are the future.
Yes, and here's the thing. Practicing with a pet takes away all the pressure. You can stumble over your words, mispronounce things, or even make up silly sentences, and your pet will just wag their tail or purr like you're the most fluent speaker in the world.
Exactly. And let's not forget about shadowing. This is such a powerful technique for improving pronunciation and fluency.
For those who don't know, shadowing is when you listen to a podcast, video, or even a song and repeat what the speaker says right after they say it. It's like being their echo.
Yes. For example, if you're listening to a podcast like this one, you can pause after a sentence and try to repeat it exactly how we say it. It helps you get the rhythm, intonation, and flow of the language.
And the best part? You can do it anywhere, while you're cooking, walking, or even brushing your teeth. I used to shadow my favorite English TV shows, and it made such a difference in how natural my speech sounded.
That's such a great example. And here's a pro tip. Start with slower content, like children's stories or beginner-level podcasts. Once you feel comfortable, you can move on to faster, more challenging material.
Absolutely. And don't worry if it feels awkward at first. Shadowing is like dancing. You might step on your own toes a few times, but once you get the hang of it, it's so much fun.
I love that analogy. And speaking of fun, let's not forget how rewarding it is to see your progress. Maybe one day you'll shadow a full conversation and realize, wow, I sound just like the speaker.
Yes. And your pet might even start recognizing the words you've been practicing. Imagine your cat meowing back when you say, "Good job."
Multilingual pets and confident English speakers. What more could we ask for? So, to all our listeners, grab your pet, pick a podcast, and start practicing. Your fluency journey just got a whole lot furrier and more fun.
All right, Dave. Now comes the time for our usual Fun with Words segment.
Yes, I love this part. Let's dive into some wordplay, quirky phrases, and maybe even a few tongue twisters to keep things interesting.
Perfect. Let's start with a fun one. Did you know pneumono-ultramicroscopic silico-vulcan oconiosis is the longest word in English? It's a type of lung disease, and honestly, just trying to say it might give you a lung workout.
Haha, I'm not even going to attempt that one. But here's a lighter one. Bookkeeper is the only word in English with 3 consecutive double letters. B-O-O-K-K-E-E-P-E-R. Try saying that 5 times fast.
Okay, here goes. Bookkeeper, bookkeeper, bookkeeper. Nope, I'm already tripping over my tongue. But seriously, that's such a cool fact. It's like the word itself is playing a prank on us.
Right? And speaking of pranks, let's talk about homophones. Words that sound the same but have different meanings. For example, like flour and flower. Imagine saying, "I need flour to bake a cake," and someone hands you a bouquet of roses.
That would be one confusing cake. Here's another one. Bear and bear. Like, I saw a bear in the forest versus I can't walk barefoot on hot sand. 2 very different situations.
Absolutely. And let's not forget palindromes. Words or phrases that read the same backward as forward. For example, like madam or race car. Or my personal favorite, a man, a plan, a canal, Panama.
Whoa, that's a mouthful. But so cool. Okay, here's a challenge for our listeners. Try saying, "She sells seashells by the seashore" 3 times fast. It's a classic tongue twister that's guaranteed to trip you up.
I can't even say it once without messing up. But that's the fun of it. Tongue twisters are a great way to practice pronunciation and have a laugh at the same time.
Totally. And here's another fun fact. The shortest complete sentence in English is just 1 word. Go.
Wow, that's efficient. Learning a language is a journey, and it's okay to have ups and downs. Celebrate no matter what your progress is, no matter how small, and remember that every step counts. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more tips and stories on your journey to fluency.
And my advice is to have fun with it. Find something you love, whether it's music, movies, or books, and use it as a way to practice. When you enjoy the process, fluency becomes so much easier.
Well said, Emma. And to all our listeners, thank you for joining us today. Remember, confidence comes with practice. So keep speaking, keep learning, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. Until next time, this is Dave and Emma signing off.